Hello, oracles. Well, as you can hear, I'm losing my voice. I think it's because I caught something over the last week of the holiday week from someone. So I'll do my best and hopefully you guys can hear me through this. But today we're going to be discussing what to expect from the markets this week, the week of December 30th, 2024. So I think we're going to see a lot of the same that we saw last week, just because the holidays in the middle of the week, we have a half a day trading day on Tuesday. So there's really not going to be a lot of movement going on. We've discussed it before. A lot of Wall Street's on vacation. They're not going to be coming back until after the end of this week. So chances are there's not going to be any major movements in the entire broad market this week. We could see some fluctuations because it's low volatility. Could see a couple of red days, a couple of green days. Again, very similar to last week. I don't think we're going to see anything major coming out. We don't have any major economic announcements coming out or anything like that. The biggest thing we do have coming out this week, and I'm going to go more in depth about it on Tuesday's video, is going to be the Tesla delivery report coming out on the 2nd, which is going to be this Thursday. So that there, they've got the expectations of 515,000. And again, we'll get into more details about that in my other video. But that coming out this week is going to be the biggest thing that's going to move anything in the market. And that's really going to be very Tesla specific. It's not really going to move much of anything else when it comes to the market itself. So I think that's going to be the biggest mover we see of anything that's coming out in the market this week. But again, we could be seeing some good opportunities. Maybe we have a red day because of low volatility. Could be a good day to buy in. But again, I think a lot of people are going to kind of just be waiting to see what's going to happen. A lot of the movements this week, probably just going to be some swing traders coming out, because when we come into the following week is going to be the big week. That's when Wall Street is back. They're going to start making some bigger moves, but they might not actually make any big moves until we get January 10th and we get the jobs report. The jobs report is going to be the piece that a lot of Wall Streeters are waiting for. And when we get that report out, that's where we can see the major moves coming in. So this week here coming up, I don't think we're going to see much, but I think the following week, we can start to see maybe some movements with the anticipation coming up with the jobs report. And then once we do get the jobs report, that's where we're going to see the major moves one way or the other. And again, we've seen it before when it came to last October. The delivery report really just kind of gives us that number of what people are going to change on their valuation models, and it's going to change the stock one way or another, strictly based upon those deliveries. Because if they forecast for, let's say, 550 deliveries and we only get 515, that's going to knock down a lot of the earnings valuations for a lot of these institutions. So that in turn is going to be knocking the stock price down. Conversely, if they were modeling out for 515,000 and the Tesla comes out with, let's say, 530,000, then you're going to see the stock move in the other direction. And then when we get the jobs report, could be very similar to what we saw in October, where we had some data coming out in the macro environment that was not so good, but Tesla was just running anyway, strictly because of the fact that we had that deliveries report coming out, and then they had a stellar earnings where Elon let us know they're going to be coming out with a lower priced vehicle coming out in the first half of next year. So there could be some data points that come out for Tesla that kind of push it outside of what we see from the macro environment, but that usually is very short term, because usually when we see that short term, Tesla can disconnect and then it always comes back, and sometimes it over exaggerates back in the other direction. So just be cautious. Obviously, you guys know, as Tesla investors, it's going to be a very roller coaster ride. But going back to the macro environment for this week, again, not much going on. I'm just going to be building up my portfolio. I did end up getting Snowball Analytics. I'm working with it right now and getting everything set up, just because I wanted to see how my progression was going based upon the spreadsheets that I had and the data being crunched by Snowball Analytics to see how close I was. So I ended up doing that, and I'll keep you guys posted on that as I go forward to let you know how I feel about Snowball Analytics. And again, I hear a lot of other people saying great things about it. If it is, I'll let you guys know, and then I'll give you a link to sign up for it as well. And if you want to do it before I come out with the video, they do have 30% off going until January 4th. If you guys want to jump on that, I can throw my link in the comments down below as well for right now. Again, I haven't used it myself, but if you guys are interested in it, I'll throw it in down there. So far, what I've seen, I do like it, but I got to dive a little bit deeper into it. And then with all of that, my focus for this week is going to be looking at next year, what my plans are for next year. I've got spreadsheets that I've got to update all of that for next year. And again, then Snowball Analytics could help that out as well. But I want to kind of take a look at my budget, take a look at my investing, see what I can do to make some tweaks along the way, add to my portfolio as well to increase that income that's coming in. That really is my biggest focus going forward, is generating passive income. Tesla, I think in the future, is going to generate that, but currently right now it is not. I do that through Tesla TSLY. It's a yield max ETF. Again, you've got to do your own due diligence on that one, because there is a lot of NAV erosion, and over time you could end up losing money despite getting some big chunks of income coming in. So you got to play that one very carefully. I've learned how to do that. And even then, I'm still very cautious about it. So I have it as a very small portion of my portfolio. But I'm just focusing on all of that going forward for the next year is going to be what can I generate for more passive income? I don't know what we're going to get from a macro environment next year. A lot of people think that we're going to get a recession, and then a lot of other people think that we're not going to get a recession and it's going to be a good year. Then you've got people like Tom Lee coming out thinking we could end up seeing a run in the early half of the year, then a massive sell-off coming down to maybe the 5600 mark in the S&P and then recovering into the end of the year. So could be a wild ride this year, and that's kind of what a lot of people are thinking. And when you have a lot of analysts and institutions who are uncertain about what's going to be transpiring over the next year, that's typically what you get is a volatile year where you could have some major ups and downs. So we're going to have a major bear bull fight next year going on, which could lead to a lot of great buying opportunities. That's why I want to have cash on the sidelines, and I want to have a lot of cash flow coming in to be able to take advantage of any of those opportunities that present themselves. So that's going to be my whole strategy for next year. And that's what I'm setting up all of this week. When we have a slower week with the market and gives me the opportunity to be able to go out there and take a look at my portfolio and not have to worry about actively doing anything. And I can kind of do that strategizing and planning for the next year. So this year worked out perfectly because I basically had 2 weeks of doing that between Christmas week and New Year's week. Now I can kind of get that all set going into the next year even stronger than I was in the past year. And this past year, I had a very good year. I think pretty much everybody did. The market did really well. So unless you were, just kind of silly selling when everybody else was selling and really just buying at the top and using those emotional swings when it comes to your trading, unless you were doing that, you should have had a very good year this year. So if that's the case, let me know in the comments below how you guys did this year. Otherwise, that's all we're going to see this week. Let me know if you guys can think of anything else that we're going to be seeing this week. Let me know what your strategies are for the new year and what you want to do for your investing as well. And then again, I will be putting out that Tesla video on Tuesday so we can discuss a lot more in depth about what is going to be going on with the delivery report and some other big dates that we have coming out over the next month. So I'll share all that with you guys on Tuesday. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. Have a great one.